Hello, hello guys, hello friends. Welcome to the world of science, welcome to the world of mathematics, and welcome to the world of unique global tutorial. A tutorial I've actually set aside for the simplifications of the relevant science subject like chemistry, like physics, mathematics, as well as computer studies. So, today we are going to be focusing on mathematics and a very important concept, a very important subject matter or topic called trigonometry. Trigono, trigonometry. So, what comes to mind when you hear the word trigonometry? Of course, trigonometry is okay. Let me take it from the root word, the etymology of the word trigonometry. So, going by the etymology of the word trigono means triangles, and metry means measurement. So if you concatenate these two major syllables together, you're going to be having measurement of triangles. Measurement of triangle. Measurement of triangle. Because trigono means triangles and metry means measurement. But in a more broad definition, a standard definition, what comes to mind when you hear the word trigonometry? It is simply a branch of mathematics that studies the relationship between the various sides of the triangles as well as the angles of the triangle. Of course, you and I know quite well that a triangle is simply a polygon that has three sides. A polygon that has three sides. It could be of the shapes you see on the board. It could be any of this shape you've seen on the board. It could be any of the shape you've seen on the board. So, having said that trigonometry is a branch of mathematics that studies the relationship between the various sides of a triangle as well as the angles of the triangle. Of course, you and I know quite well that the longest side of a triangle is the hypotenuse. The side opposite this angle may be dealing with is called the opposite, and this side may be called the adjacent. So that is what trigonometry studies. Studying the relationship between the various sides of the triangles as well as the angles of the triangle. It also goes further to study the six basic trigonometrical functions which you have always heard of in mathematics. That is talking about trigonometrical functions like sine, like cosine, like the tangent, like the cotangent, the cosecant, as well as the secant. So these are the six basic trigonometrical functions which trigonometry will also studies about, using them to show the relationship between the various sides of a triangle. Like when you hear sine, it gives you opposite, studies the opposite, relationship between the opposite and the hypotenuse. When you hear cosine, study the relationship between the adjacent to that of the hypotenuse, represented with HYP. When you hear, sorry, they are too close. Let me separate them further. When you hear of tangents, what comes to mind is the opposite all over the adjacent, abbreviated as ADG. Then you also hear of the cotangent. Cotangent, we studied the relationship between, remember, the angle maybe here, could be angle theta, could be angle A, could be angle A. Then you also have cotangent, which is simply 1 over the tangent, or the inverse of a tangent. The inverse of a tangent, tan, represented with a tan there. Then you also hear of the cosecant, which is cosecant A, which stands for the angle, then showing the relationship between, which is going to be 1 all over sine. And then you have the secant, tan theta, so on and so forth. Then, which is going to be 1 all over cos, or cos theta. So what am I talking about? All I'm saying in a nutshell is the fact that trigonometry is a branch of mathematics that studies the relationship between the various sides of a triangle, as well as the angles of the triangle, and it goes further to also study the 6 basic trigonometrical functions, which are the sine, the cosine, the tangent, the cotangent, the cosecant, as well as the secant. It uses these 6 basic trigonometrical functions to show the relationship between the various sides of the triangle in relation to the angles of the triangle. Now, having said that, it then implies that this topic called trigonometry will be a topic we're going to be resolving or preferring solution to any challenges relating to triangles. Any form of challenges related to triangles. Of course, in other previous classes, we'll consider how to resolve what we call the right angle triangle. But before then, remember, mathematics generally will study about 6 basic triangles. 6 basic triangles. Now, what are the 6 basic triangles we study in mathematics? Before then, understand the fact that we can classify all triangles in mathematics, or the 6 basic triangles we study in mathematics, into 2 categories. Classify them into 2 categories. In other words, we can classify triangles based on their sides, talking about the lateral classification, as well as the angular classification. So we have 2 ways of classifying triangles. One is the lateral classifications of triangle, as well as what we call the angular classification of triangle. Angular. Okay, pardon. Let me write it this way. Angular classification of triangle. Now, what I'm saying is this. Generally, we have 6 types of triangles in mathematics, and we can classify them into 2 basic classes. One is the lateral classification, and 2 is the angular classification. Any form of triangle either belongs to the lateral or belongs to angular. It is lateral when we are classifying triangle based on the sides. The word lateral means sides. So it is lateral classification when we are classifying triangles based on the sides they have. Like the first kind of triangle classified based on side is the equilateral triangle. Equilateral triangle. Don't forget the fact that the word equilateral means equal. Equi means equal. Lateral means side. So on the equilateral, it has equal sides. So an equilateral triangle is a triangle that has 3 equal sides. We also have what we call the isosceles triangle. It's simply a triangle isosceles triangle, a triangle that has two equal sides. Two equal sides. Then we also have what we call the, the scalene triangle. The scalene triangle. So those are the three basic classifications. These are the three basic types of triangle being classified as lateral. Then based on the angular form of classification, we're going to be having the acute triangle, the obtuse triangle, as well as the right angle triangle. Right angle triangle. Sorry, angle. So based on angular classification, that means classification of triangle based on the angles they possess, is either acute or obtuse or right angle triangle. These are the three basic classifications of triangle. So the point is, during our last class, during our previous classes, we are able to resolve all challenges related to right angle triangle. This is where we're going to focus more of our attention on. But previously, we have talked about the right angle triangle. And every right angle triangle can be resolved using what we'll call the Pythagoras theorem. Should I remind you again that Pythagoras theorem is simply saying that the longest side of a triangle, the square of the longest side of a triangle, is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides, which can be used to resolve all challenges relating to right angle triangle. But then that the same Pythagoras theorem, which can be used to resolve only right angle triangle, cannot be used to resolve when it comes to an acute triangle or obtuse triangle. This is where we're going to focus our attention on, talking about the obtuse and the acute. Since we can't use Pythagoras theorem to resolve the challenges of acute triangle as well as the obtuse triangle, what therefore can we use to resolve challenges relating to the obtuse and acute? You can go back and watch my previous classes on trigonometry that has to do with the right angle triangle, resolving all challenges relating to right angle triangle. But for now, we're going to focus on what we call the angular. What is the solution we can use to resolve when it comes to the acute triangle as well as the obtuse triangle? Remember that the acute triangle is simply a triangle that has none of its side up to 90. Then when it is angle 90, it's a right angle triangle. Then when the angle is greater than 90 but less than 180, then it is called the obtuse triangle. So that will take us to how do we resolve acute triangle and obtuse triangle. So see you over in my next class where I'm going to show you up to the solution of how to resolve the acute triangle as well as the obtuse triangle, where we'll go fully into what we call the sine, using the sine rule and the cosine rule. A sine rule and the cosine rule. See you over in my next class because of the length of this video. Thank you.